everyone. I hope quarantine is going well. And today I will be talking about happiness in Israel. Did you know that Israel is ranked as the 13th happiest country in the world? After hearing about this ranking in class, I became very curious as to how Israel, a country that I hear very little about, got such a high score out of all the other countries in the world. When I did my research, I took into account the United Nations definition of happiness by looking for the key variables they use to rank each of the countries, which are income, life expectancy, trust, freedom, generosity, and social support. The United Nations found that these variables were highly present in all of the top ranking countries they found in their study. Something that I felt was very important to address before talking about why Israel is ranked as one of the happiest countries in the world is the Western media's portrayal of the Middle East as a whole. Many media outlets only focus on the violence and conflicts that occurs in these countries, which can give the whole region itself a bad reputation. This negative media spotlight has resulted in many people picturing the Middle East as if it was a total war zone with extremists running rampant, which is far from the truth. In reality, violent acts we often see portrayed on the news don't happen as common as we think they do, and they don't define the area. Many people don't know about the rich culture and lifestyles of the people in these countries because of the way media outlets portray this area. These images we constantly see shown on the news and these stories that we constantly hear about give us altered concepts of what life is like for those who live in the Middle East. When I started doing research for this presentation, I had to personally address misconceptions and beliefs that I didn't even recognize that I held in order to understand why Israel ranked as high as it did. Going into this research with an open mind has helped me see past the negative stereotypes that the Western media has implemented, and it really helps me learn about the citizens and what contributes to their overall well-being. The reason I'm bringing all this up is to ask you all as listeners to try to recognize and set aside stereotypes and misconceptions that you might be holding right now in order to go into this presentation with an open mind. I also thought it would be worthwhile to address specific conceptions that are held about the country Israel itself in order to debunk stereotypes about this country being unsafe. Although Israel has had conflicts with both Lebanon and Gaza, it is not a country engulfed by war. Some altercations with these countries have only led to small wars, which often turn back into disagreements. Israel also has a very strong defense system against rockets when small wars do break out to ensure the safety of all its citizens and travelers. Their defense system, which is referred to as the Iron Dome, is a top-notch security system which ensures the safety of the citizens when conflict does break out. Another reason why most citizens feel no effect by these conflicts is because the countries they involve border Israel in an area where there is little to no civilian population. Most of Israel's population is condensed in urban areas that are more centralized in the country. Many battles with these countries are fought on the outskirts of the border, and they're usually smaller conflicts, so very rarely are missiles ever fired. So because of this, your average citizen in Israel, they feel little to no effect when these conflicts do break out. And Israel's top-notch defense system also gives them a sense of security, and it basically just lets them know that they're safe because if anything were to happen, it shoots down missiles and there's no way that they could be harmed. But nonetheless, this conflict makes only certain parts of Israel unsafe. But this is no different than any other country around the world, because all countries, regardless of how safe they are known to be, all have semi-unsafe areas where people know to avoid because it's inevitable to have those areas. And lastly, unpopular to what we would assume, Israel has a remarkably low crime rate. As a matter of fact, their crime rate is a lot lower than the current crime rate in the United States. So crime is not a very big problem in Israel. Now that I have addressed misconceptions that people often hold about Israel and the countries that neighbor it, I will get into why this country is so happy. After evaluating the social structures within this country and looking at key variables the United Nations used, I found that Israel has maintained a high ranking as one of the happiest countries in the world due to their involved government, economic growth, and overall healthy lifestyle. First, I will discuss the trust in the government that is present within Israel. Then I will address the economic growth this country has experienced and finish with the healthy lifestyle choices Israelites live by. By observing the trust Israelites have in the government, I have found that there are indisputable positive outcomes that come along with having a system that works for and with the people. Israel's current form of a government is a parliamentary democracy. This same form of government can be found in the United Kingdom, Denmark, Sweden, and Japan, all countries that are considered to be first world. Having this form of a government helps ensure that the citizens' voices are heard and that they have control of policies being implemented in their country. Citizens of Israel also don't have to worry about their government infringing upon their rights or implementing policies that go against the greater good due to the trustworthiness their government has shown to its people over time. Their government has been known to pass many policies to protect the rights of all sorts of minorities. For example, Israelite gays have been protected under government law for a long time. Their government has made it a point to pass many anti-discrimination laws to ensure that they aren't treated unjustly. For example, Israelite gays have been protected under anti-discrimination laws to allow them to serve in the military long before the United States had granted gays in America that right. This goes to show that Israel's government has ensured rights to minorities that are prone to be persecuted in other countries around the world, and that they ensure that these minorities do not face the same discrimination within Israel and are ensured basic human rights through this law. When the government does this, they create a happy and healthy environment to allow citizens to reach their fullest potential. According to the author Bacon, in their article The State of Happiness, which was published in 2010, the government can improve overall well-being in a country because governments cannot make people happy. What they can do is create the conditions in which they are more likely to be happy. This quote shows how governments can foster safe and healthy communities for all by ensuring that those who are often marginalized are able to live their lives to the fullest potential without facing discrimination or even having the fear of discrimination. Another source of happiness that can be found within Israel is the flourishing economy. Israel's HDI value for 2018 was reported to be 0.906, which has put this country in a very high human development category. It also positioned Israel 22 out of 189 countries and territories, according to the United Nations Development Report. Although money does not correlate with happiness, having a growing economy can help establish financial security for the citizens of Israel. There have been significant economic growth in Israel, which has led to advances in many other areas, such as medicine and technology. According to the author Doran in the article Israel Affairs that was published in 2014, Today, Israel is generally considered one of the world leaders in high-tech advancements, war utilization, agriculture, and medical innovations. Prosperity in all of these categories can help people live happier and healthier lifestyles because it ensures that they do not have to struggle with finances and survival necessities. Having easier access to resources supported by the economy allows for citizens of Israel to be able to strive for excellence. Even though Israel has a very strong economy, there are some controversies that come along with it. Many citizens complain about the high cost of living due to the rise in pricing for non-tradable products. Many have called on political leaders to solve this problem, but so far, no action has been made to help citizens attain cheaper living. According to Gillen Brand in the State of the Nation report from 2015, a large part of the price rises derives from non-tradable products, and particularly from the categories of housing, house maintenance, and food, which compromise nearly half of the average household expenditure. This rise of price has led to many protests and other forms of civil dispute within Israel, such as the social protests that occurred in 2011. Hopefully, the government gets involved and finds a way to curb prices of non-tradable products to ensure that citizens are getting fair prices of items they need. Lastly, a crucial source of happiness for Israelis is the high-quality healthcare system that is offered to all citizens. Their easily accessible healthcare system helps prevent illnesses that can lead to pain and shorter lifespans, which allows Israelis to live their lives to the fullest. According to author Jaffe, in the article Community Healthcare in Israel Quality Indicators, which was published in 2007, rates of appropriate use of asthma control medication for Israelis with persistent asthma increased over the 3-year period, and influenza immunizations for this group increased to a rate of 40%. Even though asthma coverage and influenza immunization coverage are small examples, these rates just go to show how strong of an effect affordable health care can have on communities, being that a lot more people are covered. Since their health care is high quality and easily accessible, all citizens are guaranteed a chance at living their lives to the fullest potential without health conditions interfering. This is especially true of simpler diseases that can be easily treated with today's medical advances. Because by being given access to medical care, those who would not have it are able to receive treatment. If the Jesuit values were to be applied to the current state in Israel, their trustworthy government would fall into the category of women and men born with others. The government embodies this value by standing up for the marginalized and ensuring that they receive equal treatment by law. By ensuring that people who would typically be seen as marginalized are free from prejudice, the overall well-being of the country is drastically improved. When equal treatment is ensured to all citizens, it relieves stress, therefore helping to enhance the overall well-being of all citizens. I also think that Israel's healthcare system would fall under the Jesuit value of cura personalis. This is due to the fact that the healthcare system allows for Israelis to gain access to care that fulfills individual needs and the person as a whole. Not only does Israel's healthcare aid those who are sick, they also excel in preventative care. This allows people to have all aspects of their lives cared for to prevent illness in the future. Lastly, I personally think that the economic state of the country falls under the Jesuit value of magis. This value means to strive for more and excellence. By having a strong economy, citizens are allowed to strive for higher standards of living, because a strong economic structure can help raise other aspects of life, such as medical services. Having easier access to resources supported by an economy allows for the citizens of Israel to be able to strive for excellence. Now I will be talking a little bit about happiness in America. Since this same report ranked America as the 18th happiest country, The overall well-being of Americans can be increased by adopting the cultural and social values held in Israel. If America were to follow suit with having a universal healthcare system that would not leave families with limited resources in financial ruin after using it, the overall life expectancy could be increased, which would raise well-being for many families. So, in conclusion, with all of these three factors combined, it is no surprise that the people of Israel are ranked as the 13th happiest people in the world. With all of the negative media Israel receives in the Western world, it can be hard for us to believe that Israel has a good economy, government, and healthcare system, but these three factors make them one of the happiest countries in the world. Israel has maintained a high ranking as one of the happiest countries due to their sense of security, economic growth, and healthy lifestyles. By evaluating Israel's culture, America can look to adopt some of their ways of life to improve the overall well-being of happiness in the United States. Even though this statement can be contrary to popular belief, especially in Western culture, happiness amongst Israelites is prevalent and strong.